Mics are about to be hot.
I won't touch it. I can't hear. I can't hear anything.
I can you?
I can hear.
Can you?
She can. Maybe these. I'll get some different ones. These work. Oh, did you want to stand? Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday, Working Wednesday. My name is Margaret DeBellotte. I am Miss D, the job coach, and I am ready for Working Wednesday. I hope you're ready too. Listen, you made it through Monday, you made it through Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. This is the hardest job search day of the week. I know, I know, I know. You're frustrated. You don't know why they're not calling you back. You've sent the thank you notes. You said, Miss D, the job coach, I'm doing all of the steps. What's happening? Listen, they're doing their job wherever they are too. So I need you to keep going. So come on in. It's Working Wednesday. Get your pen and your piece of paper. Today we're going to talk about networking. Ready? We're going to talk about networking and building your network to build your career. That's our topic today. If today is your first time on Working Wednesday, let me tell you how this goes. On Wednesday, it's the hardest day to get going. So I'm going to give you some steps. The steps to job search, the steps to job search. That's what this is all about. The steps, yes, 4 simple steps. It starts with networking. So we're at the beginning. After you network and find the job leads, you'll be able to put in some applications. We'll talk about that later. Once you put in enough applications, you will eventually get some interviews, and you've got to follow up on all of it. That's what this show is about. Working Wednesday with Miss D, the job coach, is here to help you get that job, honey. Get off the couch. I see you. Listen, if you don't go get the pen and the piece of paper so you can write some stuff down, how are you supposed to get a job like that? Get up off the... Okay, sit on the couch, but at least sit up. Sit up straight. Ready? Okay, here we go. So today's topic is networking. If you follow me on social media, let me give you some places. I'm currently on Facebook, so you should be able to see me on Facebook. Miss D, the job coach. That's MSD as in David, the job coach. You can also follow me on Instagram, and you can follow me on Twitter at MSD job coach. My website is how you can reach out to me, www.msd-thejobcoach.com. And then you can also get in contact with me on the good old telephone. Yes, the telephone. My direct number after the show. If you call me during the show, I'm not going to answer you. After the show, you can call me at 704-277-8714. Okay, now you have all the ways to get in contact with me after the show. Yeah, I'll give you that information again. No worries. But right now, I need you to focus. Are you ready? I need you to focus on networking to build your career. Now, I'm not going to do the show by myself today. I told you in 2019, I'm bringing in guests. I'm bringing in other people that can help to share their perspective on how to get a job. Yeah, that's what this... Are you not paying attention? This is Working Wednesday. I'm trying to get you from being unemployed to employed. Or if you're at work and you're listening to In Touch News Radio on www.n-touchnews.com, I want to help you to build your career. 2019 is the year of your career, right? So wherever your career is now, I would love for you to elevate that. But you're not going to be able to do it by yourself. You're going to need a network. So I am expanding my networking, bringing people in to talk with me to help you gain some perspective and understand how things like networking will help you. So I reached deep into my network and I found a resident expert on the topic. The lady sitting next to me is absolutely amazing. Now, I could say a whole bunch of things about her because her resume runs from here to out the door.
Right.
But I would rather that she shared with you who she is, what she does currently, at least the first 6 things.
Okay, I can give you
Just 6. Okay.
I do a lot.
Yeah, it'll. Yes, you do. You do. And so, share with the listening audience who you are, and 6 things or less about you.
Well, I'm Valenthia Berry. I'm currently employed at St. Petersburg College, where I'm the program director over customized training and professional development. So what I do is I go out and talk to businesses all day.
Wow.
In Pinellas County. So that's one thing. Also within the community, with the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, I'm a national board member. I'm a board of directors nationally. Also here locally, I'm the first vice president of programs. So you're talking about sustainability, talking about African American women and girls. We build those programs out. Financial programs, education programs. We're with the legislators here locally, Tallahassee and Washington, D.C. So also a board member of Tampa Organization of Black Affairs, TOBA, as well too.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I'm involved in everything.
Yes, I know. That's how I listen. That's how I found you. So here's the funny thing. So everyone's going to listen to this interview and they're going to think that you and I have known each other for years and years and years. We literally met on the parking lot this morning.
Right.
Well, now I
follow
her.
I follow her.
Yeah, we follow each other through
Yes.
social media. People talk about social media and, oh, it's scary and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? It's a great way for you to build your network and get to know people. Get to know people that under other circumstances you might not even have access to. If I see you at an event, you're surrounded by all kinds of people doing different things and, your intimate network. And you look at me and go, okay, here's my card, we'd exchange cards maybe, but the opportunity to have access to someone and say, hey, I'd love to have a conversation with you. I'd love to take you for coffee. I'd love for you to be on my show, right? Those are things that you can do, and that's what I believe people should be using their social network for. You should be using places like LinkedIn. You should be using places like Facebook. You should be using places like YouTube. You should be using places like Instagram to connect with people, Twitter, to connect with people. I'm on all of the social media, and people think that all I do is sit on social media. Well, listen, if you're trying to build your social media, it takes time.
Oh, yeah.
It's time consuming. I do a combination of social media and intimate networking, going to networking events, going to the Toba breakfast that they have every year. That's absolutely amazing. That I was divided between 2 events. I went to St. Petersburg's big breakfast this year, but Toba is on my list for next year. Some of my colleagues were at the Toba breakfast this year. I said, listen, I got to get to that one. When you are part of a community, there are so many great things going on in your community, and all you've got to do is engage.
Yeah.
All you've got to do is engage. And what's really cool is that the people that you look at, you see them on a stage or on a microphone, and you think, oh, they wouldn't talk to me. Yes, they would.
Yes, they would.
Yes, they're just people.
I always say the fortune is in the follow-up.
That's right. Oh, okay. Now, that's
a
right.
nugget.
That's right.
So if you don't follow up, you don't know.
That's right.
So once you get that card, you're talking to them, and you're networking, because it's an art. So if you don't follow up with them, how do you know if you're going to make it to the next level, the next step, the next job? So I always say send them an email, start the conversation. You're the one that starts it. So if it's, hey, let's have coffee, you do that. Get to know them. Don't make it a need of, I need this.
Right.
Not right away. Always get to know those individuals for who they really are.
Exactly.
Because that goes a long way. Because trust me, a lot of my clients are my friends.
Yeah.
I call them family. Why? Because I get to know them, and it's not always about the sale, the business, or my next move.
That's right. People want to know who you are. People do business with and recommend people that they know and trust. I have a unique way of just connecting with people. I connect to people. And I had lunch with someone yesterday that I've followed professionally for years now. She and I know each other. casually, the professional, I see you at networking, I know what you do, or at least I think I know what you do, right? And she and I sat down and had lunch yesterday, and it was great. And we talked a little about business, but it was more about who are you?
Mm-hmm.
And so your network's got to get past just the superficial part. You gotta get past that part. You got to say, I genuinely want to know who you are before I want to recommend you to somebody.
Right, because if when you recommend someone, that name carries. So you don't know who that person is and what they may or may not do to, as I call it, your reputation precedes you.
Exactly.
And so I always say get to know the individual before you put yourself out there to recommend them. So take time. It's not going to happen overnight. It may be in 3 to 4 months, but that's how you work your network.
But it's consistency.
All the time.
It is truly the consistency, because following up with people doesn't just mean, hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do this for me? It's going to their events. It's engaging in the things that are of interest to them. It's getting to know their circle of friends as well. Not in the creepy, I'm going to stalk them. Well, I have stalked a few.
You can't stalk folks.
Well, I do it, and I'm nice about it,
That's good.
And it's a balanced persistence is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a balanced persistence, because I love to tell the story about how I landed here with In Touch, and DJ CEO sitting over there just smiling about it, because listen, the first time I reached out to him, he was like, yeah, lady, whatever. I don't even, he says, look, I'm in the middle of something, I got something going on, and I took note of what he told me he had going on, because it was important to him. And he said, oh yeah, get back to me. And I said, okay. And the second time I reached out to him, someone had heard me through my Facebook shows, because I had several Facebook shows going at the time. And they said, oh, you need to know this guy. I said, well, I'd like to know him. Can you introduce me to him? Because I tried introducing myself, and he said, talk to me later. You didn't tell me to talk to the hand. He did say talk later, so that meant that I could come back, right?
Yes, that meant
I could come back. So when I came back to him, I now had a network. I now knew somebody that knew him, and I was able to say, so-and-so told me that I should reach out to you. And I think he took the call a little bit different at that point. Oh, yeah. And I remembered what it was he was doing. I don't know if he remembers that, but I remembered what he told me was keeping his mind busy, that he really couldn't talk to me. And I said, how did that event go? And I think he paused a little bit. Did you pause a little bit, DJ CEO?
I did.
He did.
Yeah, because see, people want to know, listen, they don't care what you know till they know that you care.
Right. That's true.
They want to know that you're genuinely interested in them, not just what they can do for you, right? We can accelerate each other's careers 10 times, but we can only do it in a spirit of community, in a spirit of it truly expanding and wanting each other to expand. That, I believe, is the key to networking.
Well, that's how you land the job.
Because people will recommend you.
I always say it's not who you know, it's who knows you as well, too. Like I said, your reputation precedes you, who you are, what you stand for. And if you're about the community, you care, and they see that you care, they don't mind going the extra mile.
That's true.
Like, I don't mind going the extra mile.
Absolutely. I have truly gotten where I've gotten based on the relationships that I have built here in the greater Tampa Bay area, and actually all over the country. Every place that I know, people know me, the good, the bad, and the very funny. This is Working Wednesday. I'm Miss D, the job coach. We'll be right back on In Touch News Radio. We had so many people watching us on social media. Hello. Listen, yes. Ask your questions, yes. And please share. Sharing is caring. Share this in your network. Hit the share button. Like, share, invite, follow. Bring other people into the conversation. I will do the best that I can. Hey, Ray. What's going on, Sister Lowry? What's up, Low Poet? How are you today? Love. So glad to see you. So glad to see you.
Yes.
I know Gretchen is on with us also. She was very first. She's consistent. She's a frequent flyer.
That's good.
She's a frequent flyer. So the way I have this set up is that it runs on my personal page, and it also runs on my professional page, because I have followers on both, and it dings for different people based on how
That's a
they
good
follow me.
distinguish for individuals too. So if you have a personal page,
Yeah.
and you really don't want individuals such as companies to see that page, you want to build a business page or a page that's not reflective of everything they've done in the past, because it says it's deleted, but it's not really deleted.
No, once it's out there in cyberspace,
once
it's out
there,
there.
it's there.
Yeah.
20 seconds.
So the idea here is to build in both areas. You know, people that follow me personally, it's fine. You know, I'm an open book. The
Right.
good, the bad, and the funny. I'm with it. You know, it's all who I am, and I want people to not have the unpleasant experience of finding out I am something else on a different day. So I'm completely transparent.
Yeah, you have to be.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday. This is Working Wednesday. My name is Margaret DeBellotte. I am Miss D, the job coach. It's Wednesday. And if you are still in job search or still trying to figure out what direction you're taking your career, you have stopped off at just the right place. We have a 4-step system that we use to help people to move from one place to another with their career. And today we're working on step 1. Today we're talking about networking. Yeah, listen, don't make that face. I see you. Your nose all scrunched up. You're like, I don't want to go to no events. Listen, you don't have to go to events. Before we went on the break, we were talking about the different ways you can build it through people. You can build it through social media. But what I really want to talk about now as we talk about going into networking, I want to talk about some of the don'ts.
Ooh.
I have a guest today. Tell people who you are.
I'm Valentia Berry. How are you?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for being with me today. And I want everybody to know that this was simply an ask. I reached out and I said, hey, here's my topic. Here's my show. I would love to have your perspective on this topic. And when I told her what the topic was, she was like, oh, yes, that's my topic. she was so excited. I said, well, let me give you the topic to talk about. But I really want to talk about the pitfalls that people fall into,
Hey,
the don'ts.
Alicia.
The don'ts. Yes, we're on social media. So please follow on In Touch News on Facebook. Please follow on Miss D, the Job Coach Facebook page as well. We are live on social media. See, I said that I have a face for radio and I want to be on radio, but you folks made this into television, and I've just had to agree to the process. That's sometimes what I have to do.
So you mentioned the don't.
Yes.
I always say don't go unprepared.
Say more about that, please, please, please.
So when you go to a networking, you have to practice this. Your handshake, who you're going to talk to. I always say have at least 2 or 3 local news, something to spark their interest when it comes to conversation. And then, of course, your dress. Make sure that you're dressed appropriately. And then what I always do, and I tell my students this on the campus, when I go intentionally. Intentionally to when I first go to say, who's on your list? Well, first, you should know who's going before you go. Call the event, say, hey, I would like to know your top 5, and this is how I do it, top 5 companies that will be there, that will be present. Look at the sponsors. Hey, could I get a copy of the list? If not, when I get there, I look at the list. Can I see the list to see who's here? You should know who's in the room before you get there, so you can target to those individuals that you would want to talk to. So that's what I mean by go prepared. All right. So in the handshake, one thing I get from employers, they say I don't hire individuals that have a limpy handshake.
Yeah,
Practice
listen.
that.
There's no such thing as a woman's handshake, a girl's handshake. I think that's terrible. Whoever taught that nonsense, I want them to stop it. Because why? We are equals in business. You know, I teach people you hold your hand out, and your hand should engage their hand equally.
Yep.
And who should? Okay, here's one for you. Who should stop the handshake?
Who should stop it? Actually, you pull back, or they should pull back. They actually pull back first.
Yeah,
You
I
extend.
I teach to
pull back.
allow the other person to have that level of control. That
Right.
is the first engagement, right? And so I'm all in. I want you to know I'm all in. And when you're ready to release the handshake, I'll release the handshake. Because by submitting to that, if you will. I'm saying, I want to partner with you.
Yes.
I'm going to work with you. Yes, you'll have the lead at times and I'll have the lead at times. This is a partnership. And
Right.
and I communicate that through the engagement of the handshake by allowing them to release the handshake first. That's what I teach.
Right.
So,
And leading the discussion, the conversation.
mhm,
So asking open-ended questions, not closed-ended questions. So for instance, everyone's always, oh my gosh, how do you say your name? So I give them a story. And it's a true story. I said, my name is Belinthia, Belinda and Cynthia. My mom named me after her two best friends from Florida State. So you got Belinda and Cynthia. That's how we got Belinthia. Oh, they go crazy about it. So we talk about that. We lead it. And I said, okay, tell me more about you, your kids. You have kids? Oh, great. And a lot of individuals that I know over in St. Pete, for some reason, Florida State is huge. Your mom went to Florida State? This one gentleman, he told me his whole life story about Florida State, his kids. He has 2 girls there currently right now. He had to buy a house. They have 2 dogs. I knew everything about him before I left. And right now, till this day, I can call him. And we're good friends.
right. So that's how you create friends. So when you go to a networking event, it's not just telling everybody what your resume looks like. A networking event, now an interview is different, right? But a networking, especially when you're at an event, you should get to know that person, not just who they are professionally, know who they are personally. You may find out that you have intersection points, meaning things, commonalities, things that you
commonalities.
like and they like, you know. I go to, who was I with? Maybe it was somebody I was interviewing here and found out where they were from, and we were from the same place. And you know, that's it. That's how people stay connected to you, because you have that connection. When you have that connection point, whether they know everything that there is about you, there is a implication of who you might be based on that connection point. And that's what they're going to use, both to remember you and to refer you to somebody. Let me tell you why I like this person. They're from the same town that I am. They went to the same college my mama went to. They go to the same church that I go to. They wear the same shoes that I wear. I mean, it's amazing, the intersection points that people have, but that's how we bring it together to make the networking stick.
Right. So another don't talk about religion or politics during networking. That's a big no-no.
Now, I love that you said that, because I went to a networking event and I was sitting near a group of people. I didn't know any of them, and this conversation ensued that just went some really weird places. Like, I mean, I think it began innocently, but once it blossomed, it went some scary places, and I was like, okay, I really didn't mean to be here talking about that with people that I don't know. And now, you know, people that know me well and that follow me on social media know that I am very active in both politics, and I'm very open in my conversations about religion. However, in certain environments, it will go badly, right? Especially with people that you don't know and people that you seek to build a professional relationship with. Professionally, sometimes I don't want to know all that nonsense about the non-factual information or opinions that you have about a particular topic. So, you know, you have to regulate yourself, because you can't control other people, right? So when those conversations go in directions that you're not comfortable with, that's a great time for you to go get another shrimp.
Or I have to go to the restroom. That's my big one.
Yeah.
Can you excuse me? I got to look for the restroom.
Yeah, I'm food motivated, so I go get a shrimp.
You can always do that too.
Or a chicken wing, you know.
Yeah.
If they've got some chicken wings or a shrimp, oh man, I'm getting out of any conversation I don't want to be in.
And that's a good exit. I always say, always have an exit plan when it comes to networking. If you see the conversation is going a little left or the conversation is dying down, have an exit.
Yeah, it's great to know, and doing your work beforehand. I love what you said about doing your work beforehand and knowing some things. Now, some people, I've been doing networking for 20 years. Yeah, I started when I was 6.
Oh, wow.
Kidding. Totally kidding. But, you know, I've been doing networking for a long time. So someone asked me the other day, they said, when you go to a networking, you know, what do you go for? And I said, today, what do I go to networking for? I just go for the experience, because there are so many different types of networking. There is professional networking. Then there's the after hours networking. Then there's the this group is trying to expand their reach kind of networking, so everybody there is new.
Yeah.
You know, I have become a little more relaxed in my networking, and I think it's Florida too. You go everywhere in open-toed shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I think that has something to do with it.
Well, however, I do believe how you dress is the representation of who you are. So I always tell my students, if you're going to a meeting where you know there's business, you dress business.
Right.
If it's an outdoor event, you dress for outdoor.
Right.
So you can wear your open-toe shoes, a nice sundress, but make sure you dress the part of what the event is asking for.
Right. So be appropriate. That's
Yes,
what I heard you
always
say.
be
Be
appropriate.
appropriate. You know,
Every
if you
time.
put a sundress on, put a jacket on top
Always
of
have
it.
a jacket.
Right. Women, we don't want our arms showing.
Mm-hmm.
There are some etiquette things, and when I'm talking with a client about how they're going to project themselves when they go into a networking event, I definitely say, what are you going to wear? And I do a lot of my clients I meet with remotely, so we do video conferencing. I go, wear what you intend to wear on that interview. Let's talk about it.
Oh, that's good.
So I can give them the feedback of how they look. I'm going to be looking at them wearing that.
You do need a coach. You need someone, coach, mentor, someone to give you guidance and direction, because we don't always know it all.
Right, we don't. And a lot of times, nobody in an interview is going to tell you that that doesn't look good. And nobody at the networking is going to tell you, don't ever wear that again.
Right.
Most of my career, I've been a professional facilitator, a trainer, if you will, in the corporate world. And I went through a particular certification early in my career, and they videotaped us doing a presentation. Now, I had these shoes. I have to tell this story.
Okay.
I had a pair of shoes, and now my husband at the time hated the shoes. I didn't understand why he hated the shoes, but after I saw myself in that recording, I too hated those shoes.
Oh, goodness.
I said, I look horrible.
Nobody ever told me.
Well, he tried to tell me, but I liked my shoes, right? Well, what it wasn't just the shoes. It was the shoes with a particular pair of pants that I wore, because those shoes were fine with the right pants. Okay. Yeah, they were only good for pants, but they were good for slim fitting pants, not wide legged pants, right? So they really weren't appropriate for work, because I was wearing wide leg pants to work, and these shoes, they weren't right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I saw myself on the video that I was able to ascertain that that was not what I should have been wearing. And sometimes that's what someone else can do for you. They can give you a perspective that you just don't have. I used to look at myself in the mirror and I thought I looked fine until I saw myself on that video walking around presenting, and I was like, oh my goodness, I will never wear that again.
You gotta make up your adjustments.
And so I recommend to people that they do their presentation in the mirror.
All the time.
Do your elevator pitch. I know a lot of people, that's a buzzword, and people get afraid of it because they think somebody's going to lock them in an elevator and they're never going to get out.
It's just a 30-second, 1 minute, quick something about yourself. And we can go back over that.
Yeah, you've got to prepare for that. And I think preparation for networking is probably the biggest area where people have opportunity. Not so much performing during, but the preparation part to get what it is they want when they network. We'll talk about that when we come back on In Touch News Radio. This is Working Wednesday.
You're awesome. I love it. People said they got good nuggets.
They got good nuggets? Good. Good. This is super fun.
Good.
Yeah, this show is all about the nuggets. Somebody wants us to elaborate on the exit or the shift when the conversation is dying down. How do we end the conversation and without being rude or awkward? Great question. Great question. So we have, listen, we've got some really great folks that are watching us. For those of you who don't know Low Poet, don't know L'Oreal, please know her. She's on WMNF, an amazing lady. She is a friend of mine through the Professional Women's Group of Dress for Success Tampa Bay. We've got Bay Life Entertainment following us also. We've got, oh my goodness, an amazing guy, a guy with a smile as big as mine. Delatoro McNeil, thank you so much for joining us this morning, sir. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, this is a part that I love about the social media piece, is that people can be able to watch it later and still be able to get the nuggets. So love that. And folks that can't, necessarily be in the studio with us today. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Margaret DeBellotte. I am Miss D, the job coach, and this is Working Wednesday on In Touch News Radio. Ooh, I got a little bit of fanfare. I like it. Listen, DJ CEO does an amazing job making me sound good.
Right.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. This is a team effort. I really, I shout out my team. I shout out the people that help me, that work with me, that support me, and In Touch has done that consistently. DJ CEO makes a special effort to be here and be in the studio with me, and I appreciate it, my friend. I definitely appreciate it. And so I brought a guest in with me today, and some of you may have encountered her in all of her vast things that Miss Berry has done. But you know what? It's what do I want to say? It's a community effort. It is a team effort. Some of you, if you follow me on social media, you know that I am building a tribe because I truly believe that together is how we're going to move agendas forward, whatever the agenda is. Today we're talking about careers, but the careers that people build our communities. And the communities build our society, and the society build our world. And so I really focus on the outward and upward movement of all of the initiatives that we have. I support a lot of things in this community and actually around the world. And I truly believe that fundamentally, if we understand how we can work together and help each other to build those professional networks and those personal networks, together each we will achieve more. So I really want to continue the conversation about networking. Somebody asked us to go back and elaborate more on how to exit that conversation without feeling awkward, without making it look awkward. So you want to talk about that?
So this is what I do. So this is where memorization comes in, right? Part of the conversation. So I get 2 or 3 points, the nuggets from the conversation, kind of go over that to say, it was great to talk to you about X, Y, and Z. I really enjoyed the conversation about this, and this. At this time, I see someone across the hall that I would like to talk to, but I would love to continue this conversation. Can I get your business card if you haven't already got it already? Or can I contact you? Next week would be great. You confirm that next week. I'll get in contact with you. If not, by the end of the day or this week. Thank you so much. You extend your hand, and then that's how you exit. That's how I do it.
That's great. That's great. I struggle sometimes with that because I don't have a poker face.
You have to have it.
So yeah, I don't have a poker face. If you know me personally, you know I don't have a poker face. And so oftentimes if I'm in a situation where I'm uncomfortable, I'll simply say, you guys keep going, I'll be back.
That's in a group, but this is one-on-one. See, the group setting, there's a difference.
Right.
So it depends on who you're with.
Right.
So you can do a tag team, as I call it. You give your person a nod. I'm going to head out this way. Thank you so much. Y'all continue the conversation. It was nice to meet you. Extend your hand, and then you back out.
Right. So I usually have found those most uncomfortable situations in the group. But you're right. When you get with that individual that just wants to start talking about really interesting conversations that really weren't what you intended to have in that particular setting, you do have to have your exit strategy.
Yeah.
I
see
believe
someone
in
across
the exit
hall
strategy.
I would like to speak to. Oh, can you give me a moment? I have a call that's coming in. And then it was nice meeting you. Extend your hand. Always extend your hand.
Yes.
I'll get back with you. Thank you so much.
Yes, have that handshake.
Yes.
Let that person know that you respect the engagement. That's what the handshake does.
Yes.
The handshake is a sign of honoring another person and being able to say that we can be connected and we're going to move on.
Yes.
And continue our relationship later. We'll continue our conversation a little bit later.
So hopefully that answered that question.
Yeah, I hope it did. So we were talking about the elevator speech, and you were not going to lock me up in an elevator because I'm afraid of the dark, and I'm very small and I cry easy.
No. The elevator speech, or we call it pitch, is just maybe a 30-second, 1 minute background about who you are real quick and what you're trying to, I always say what you're trying to accomplish.
Yes.
That's how I get it. So it depends on who I'm talking to especially out in what I do in Pinellas County. So my name is Valenti Bear. I'm with St. Petersburg College, Program Director with Workforce Institute. And what I do is I deliver high impact demand certificates and certifications to businesses here locally in Pinellas County. And my goal, and I always give a goal, my goal for this conversation is to see if you're something that you're interested in. If not, someone that you may know that may be interested in it. Oh, give me more. I said, look, we do certifications, certificates in all areas: business finance, manufacturing, information technology, and then I go into a few facts.
That's great. That's
so,
great.
And they're like, oh, wow.
Yeah, the idea is to engage the other person.
Right.
You know, tell them a little bit about you. Oftentimes, after I tell people my first and last name, and then I tell them that I'm a job coach, it leads them to ask me a question.
Oh, yeah, many, many questions.
They go, what's a job
coach?
coach? And I love that. When I developed my brand, I intentionally made it something that would make people ask me a question. It really, my clients are the ones who started calling me Ms. D because my name is DeBellotte, right? So I said, okay, Miss D is more palatable for folks. I can do that. But I'm a job coach. I'm coaching them through the job search process. I coach them through their first 90 days of employment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I follow up because sometimes you get the job and then you get there and their recruiting was really good and it's really not for you.
Right.
So I tell my clients, listen, we're going to decide in the first 45 days if this is the right job.
Right.
And so I'll follow them through their first 90 days of employment to ensure that they got the right job and that that's where that they want to stay and begin to develop what their objectives are through their first year of employment. So as a job coach, to me, being able to help someone understand that your job today might lead to a career, or it just might be a job. They might have gotten a certification and started down a road, and for working in the field, decide this is not what I want to do.
You make that pivot.
Yeah, and so teaching people how to be able to do that is part of my job as a job coach as well. But helping people to understand how they should project themselves, what should they say, what 2 or 3 things are important about them that are going to cause someone to engage them and want to know more. Right. And sometimes people have practiced, but they're just not really ready. So what do you tell them to do in that case when they meet someone and they just feel a little apprehensive? What do you tell them to do?
I switch the conversation. Start asking them questions. If you feel uncomfortable, say, hey, so tell me about you. What do you do? What is your goal? Why did you come here today? What is your objectives? I mean, start asking questions or, hey, do you have any kids? Take off subject. Hey, the sky is blue. I wouldn't ask that, but do you have kids? What high school did you attend? Where are you from? A lot of those conversations start. A lot of people are not from Tampa. I'm from Tampa, Florida. Born and raised.
Wow, that deserves a round of applause because that's a big deal to meet somebody in Florida who's from Florida.
Right.
Wow, I found me a unicorn.
I get that all the time. Like, oh my goodness, you're from here? And I tell them, yes. I can't say I've been all over the world, but I have. But I was born and raised here. I did go off. I went to Florida A&M University. So then when I came back, then I went back to get my master's. So I tell them that story. I meet so many different people from all walks of life, all different states. They're like, oh my goodness, you're the first person I've ever met that actually was born and raised here and you still live here.
Yeah.
That's a good conversation.
Exactly. Because see, I recently, last year started making friends with some people who are from here. I mean, from here and fully engaged in the community. And they were able to give me insight and historic reference about a lot of things, people, places, and things here. And I totally enjoy getting to know what is this community about? What is the history here? Why do people respond this way? Because I'm obviously not from around here, right? I'm a New Yorker. Okay. I'm a New Yorker. My family's Caribbean, so I was raised under Caribbean culture, very strict. And, the whole moving to the South thing has been interesting.
Yes.
The culture is just different. And I think I've lived as far out west as Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I think everywhere you go, you have to learn the culture of that area. When I get a lot of clients that are transplants. So people who have moved here from somewhere else. And in moving here from somewhere else, they have no idea how to navigate the water. And that's the first thing that I do with them is teach them how to do networking, how to go to networking events, how to dig into the network they already have. People from back home, well, where they came from, know people here. Come on now. It's warm here. It's nice here. The beach is here. There's no snow here. Come on now. People are motivated to come here. People come here from places like California because the cost of living in comparison is different, right? People come, and the Tampa Bay area attracts people from everywhere. Okay. And so I have such a rich experience with people here when I go to networking events and I find out who other people are. There are people that I give my card to at a networking event and I never tell them anything about me. I let them talk to me the entire time. That's a technique that I use. I tend to not talk about myself an overwhelming amount at networking events because I'm a talker.
Right.
I will talk you until you start crying, right? So because I know that about myself, because I know I can be overwhelming at times, the way that I regulate that, this is why you have to know yourself.
Yes.
The way that I regulate myself is I allow them to tell me who they are. I have 3 to 5 basic questions that I ask. I ask them, are they from here? How long have they been in their career?
Yes.
What brought them to doing what they do now? Where are they going next in their career? What are some of their goals and objectives? What are they looking for at this stage of their career? I try to keep it on career unless they allow me to go somewhere else. I let the other person decide if the conversation is going casual, but I tend to keep it around their career, and people are very forthcoming because now that I know a little bit about them, I know who I can connect them to. I know what makes sense for who they are. I met a gentleman the other day who relocated here from Brazil. He's a venture capitalist, amazing guy. And after spending a few hours talking to him, he introduced me to his wife, and his wife is an HR director for a steel company that's expanded here into the greater Tampa Bay area. Wonderful connection. She and I had coffee the other day, and we talked about how to develop staff, and we have that commonality, right, of the HR. So that's network.
Yeah.
He gave me a great connection under other circumstances. I may have only met her through LinkedIn or something like that, but by him giving the warm introduction, by him knowing who I was and what value I could possibly add to where she is, he decided, hey, you need to know this person. Those connections take networking to another level.
Whole nother level. Who you're connected to.
That's right. People introducing you to people that you can have impact with. Sometimes the person you're talking to is not the person that you really need, but they know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
Take you to the next level.
That's right. My name is Margaret DeBellotte. I am Miss D, the job coach. This is Working Wednesday on In Touch News Radio. We'll be right back.
Someone asked, is there a number I could call you?
Oh.
That's what?
Is there a
number?
number?
Oh, great. Yeah.
Make sure you come up with it when you come back on. I don't know if you remember Adrian Wright. You remember him? Yeah, he's up in West Virginia doing his barbecue. Doing quite well, actually.
I remember there was a time where I had to coach people who were from out of town how to understand the culture of Tampa and the different groups. Because they're just like, I can't get anywhere with my business.
Man,
I don't understand. And it's very hard.
It is hard.
It's been hard. Even after 23 years, Tammy and I have been in business. We've been here 32 years. It's still difficult to navigate because they still consider you an outsider.
Right.
You ain't from around here, is you?
I remember when you came, when I was over at Hillsborough Community, and I had the guy from the military base come out, talk about contracting, and it was just him and maybe 2 others, African Americans in the room. I was like, thank you for coming, because he was a really great contact. He was over all the small business contracting for McDill.
It's cool.
Is he still there, by the way?
Yeah.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is In Touch News Radio. It is Working Wednesday with the Job Coach. My name is Margaret DeBellotte. I am Miss D, the Job Coach, and we are getting you to work today. That's right, Working Wednesday. You see the theme there? It's Wednesday. We want you working. We're here to help. The purpose of this show is to give you some things to think about, some nuggets for you to continue in your job search. Yes, I am a job coach. If you have a question and you'd like to talk to us today, right now, 813-444-9588. Please call in. I love to take calls. And I have a guest with me today. Valenthia Berry is here today. And listen, this lady's resume runs from here to over the hills and through the woods. But the value add, I have to first thank you so much for making the effort to be with me.
Oh, you're welcome. Just in my schedule a little bit.
I definitely appreciate it, and the listening audience. I've been getting the comments here on social media, and people are applauding and thanking you for giving us these powerful nuggets, things that they can use.
Oh, you're welcome.
Because that's what job search is about. You know, listen, looking for a job is not a fun task. It's not fun. People don't want to do it. They don't want to do it, right? But we want to help them. So if you have a question about job search, call in right now. Either I can answer your question or maybe Valenthia can answer your question. The phone number is 813-444-9588. I'll give it to you again. 813. Somebody got it.
Oh, wow.
Hello, caller. You're on live with Miss D, the job coach. That's super cool. That's super cool. Now, tell me your page.
Yes.
Yes. I just connected with you. TampaBayContest.com. Yes, I just connected with you. That's awesome. Thank you so much for engaging us today. Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah. I saw that. Yes. She has, listen, that was very attractive to me. And I said, okay, all I've got to do is click these things. And listen, networking is about how wide you can get the network to grow, right? When we look at social media and we look at how we're all connected, growing together. That's what I love about what social media has done for us. It's designed for us to be social. So thank you so much, Terry. Hey, we're going to go now, and you and I are going to remain connected. Thank you so much for calling in today. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. See, that's now. She's liking it now. That is networking. That's, hey, I've got something, you've got something. How can we work together? You know, it's finding people who know people who know people. And social media, listen, people can say whatever they want to me about social media, and my answer is, okay, sorry that happened to you, and keep it moving, because there's so much good that can be done. I have a worldwide following, and it's not because I didn't do the work. I did do the work to get the following, but it's truly because I have a spirit of cooperation. I want us to cooperate. I want us to grow each other's businesses. I want us to grow each other's careers. People, listen, they talk about being in business. DJ CEO, what you do is not a business. This is your career. This is your life. This is what you do.
Passion.
Yeah, it's your passion. And that's what keeps you going. And when people say you're doing a great job, good morning, caller. You're on live with Miss D, the job coach. Good morning. What's up, Lo, with
Good
the
morning.
flow? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you. Thank you.
So this is what I do. There's always a pause. You have to wait to that moment, you know when. And then you kind of put your hands on that person's shoulder and say, can I just get 1 minute? I want to introduce myself. And then you turn to that person, you extend your hand. There's always that handshake. You extend your hand, you start the conversation to say, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to say my piece to you because I have somewhere else or somebody else to talk to. So, and I understand, I'll let y'all finish the conversation. And I've done that several times. Like, hey, how you doing? Just like, hey, sister, brother, like, can I get a minute? Thank you so much. You get the nod, and then you move forward.
Yeah, there's a book I read some years ago called The Celestine Prophecy, and it's all about the movement of energy amongst people. And sometimes the person who is doing a lot of talking, they've got a lot of energy, and they're sucking up the energy of the interaction. And so you can interrupt the energy. And I love that, putting your hand on them or simply saying, would you mind if I ask a question? That's a great interruption, because when people say, do you mind if I ask a question? Most people will say, sure, what's your question? The idea is to gain the engagement at that point. And the interruption has to feel natural. It has to feel good to everybody in the situation, and introducing the opportunity to ask a question is comfortable for most people. So it gives you the opportunity to say, does anybody here, and then you ask whatever your question is. Be sure that your question is relevant to the flow of what the topic was. DJ CEO?
Yeah, I want to be specific with that, because sometimes if you ask that, you might want to say, may I ask a question of you? Because the talker, the one that's could answer that question.
That's
and
true.
You don't want that. So you just want to be specific to who you direct that question to.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah. So again, that's about that controlling the situation, moving the control away from the person who you feel is monopolizing, because people do that.
All the time. All the time. You just have to know when. And you'll know there's a pause. You're like, okay, it's time to jump in right now.
Yeah, sometimes it's like double dutch.
Yeah.
Right? You waiting to jump in. So for those who don't know what double dutch is,
It's my turn.
Right? Everybody's going to get a turn, right? And the way for us to get the turn is you got to look for sometimes the breathing patterns of that person. You got to look at it. So, L'Oreal, thank you so much, Low with the Flow, for that question. That's an excellent question. Thank you so much for calling in today. Talk to you soon.
It's a clue. This is a class, you know that, right?
Yeah. Listen,
the art of networking.
Okay, yeah. The art of network. That is a whole thing. I mean, we could have a half a day workshop on that. I think I just heard it come.
Yeah, we could do
I
it.
think I just heard it